welcome to Nile TV.
Thank you so much, my host. I'm grateful to be here for the first time. And for the viewers, I also want to appreciate you for joining the show. And definitely I'm grateful, and I can't miss to say Happy New Year. We are still at the start of the year.
Yeah, this is just the second show of the year.
Sure. And I'm happy to be one of the earliest for the year.
I'm grateful too.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're blessed to have you here, by the way.
Thank you. I'm blessed too. Wow. It's a great privilege to be here. Yeah.
So what comes into your mind when the word accountability is mentioned?
Accountability, there are so many words that people use to bring the heart of it. But to me, the heaviest line to draw is in the responsibility aspect.
Okay.
Yeah, I take accountability as that ground to provide a responsibility or to be responsible for your actions, your roles, your tasks, your assignments.
Okay.
And you are to present it to yourself, to your seniors, to others, and even to God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's say God first.
God first.
The rest.
Yeah, the rest, yes, yeah.
You know, I was actually saying, I was telling a friend, if you are right with God, you will be right in other areas.
In other areas. In fact, once you've fixed it with God, you've fixed it with all.
It's like an automatic principle.
Yeah, yeah, you're already on an automated drive. Yeah.
So I had said that accountability actually comes with a lot of feelings of its own. Some people fear so much. Some people are anxious, others are nervous, but others feel it is a good thing. This is a freedom coming my way, like I need to get this thing done. So what are the areas in which we are expected to give accountability?
I would say all the areas of life demand accountability. In our personal lives, there are areas that demand accountability. In our work with God, there are areas that demand accountability. In systems, in institutions, in a place of work, in the culture, in the community, every area of life demands accountability.
Wow.
Sure.
I see even in the workplaces, as you had said, reports are given from time to time. That's a way of accounting. And then whenever we just say accountability, most people think about money. Most people think about money, but it is good that you have mentioned in every aspect of our lives.
In every aspect of our lives.
We are supposed to give accountability. It's like you reap what you sow. Every action comes with its own consequences that you have to take personal responsibility for. So let's chip into something called accountability in relationship.
Okay.
You know, relationship can be sometimes very compromising. People like compromising a lot because sometimes the friends, the spouses, the parents, or people who are close do things that you feel they should have accounted for, but then, as I said, accountability comes with fear and anxiety and so on. People are shaken. They fear that if I tell my friend to account for this particular thing, or if I ask him questions, our friendship is going to be jeopardized. So how do you approach a situation where someone is to be held accountable for the situations that they have involved themselves in?
First of all, I should say accountability is very, very vital even in relationships. We must hold people accountable even in relationships. So the question will be, how do I do that? Because this is my friend, this is my relative. I think there are tools we can use to make even our friends accountable. We can use the tool of love. We can use the tool of a positive connection. When I say positive connection, I mean, I can come to you all rough and I'm demanding accountability from you, but I'm coming all fire. And then all of a sudden, I realized instead of giving room to give me answers that are important, you close up.
Yeah.
Because I've come at another height.
At times I feel threatened.
And then you feel threatened. So you close up. So we have to use love. We have to use a relationship connection that can give room for people to open up. And those are great tools for people to be able to account that. They need to be accountable, even in relationships, cannot be deleted. It must stand.
Okay, I'm looking at the basis of what you have said right now. Actually, there are two categories of people. There is this other person, if you talk to them very slow, they take you for granted.
Sure.
You have to come with a lot of fire.
Sure.
And then they'll say, yeah, this person is serious. Then there is also me. If you come with a lot of fire, yeah, true, I close up.
Sure.
You have to take me from a slow ground.
Sure.
Yeah. Then I can be able to open up. I think you just have to understand the person you are dealing with very well, and then be able to, let's say, deal with them or not really deal with them, but...
Sophie, one of the things I can tell you is we hear a lot about how to be successful. If you want to succeed, do this, do this, do this. There are a lot of success tips there.
Yeah.
But I learned one thing. One of the success tips is learning people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Learn.
Everywhere you go, you have to learn people. You have to study people. In business, you need to understand people. In communities, you need to understand people. In workplace, you need to understand people. In family, in marriage, you need to understand people.
Yeah, sure.
So understanding people is a very classic course unit of its own. If we get an A in that class, you can flow well anywhere.
Wow.
So to get people accountable in areas that we need accountability from them, I think one of the things we have to do is just to be sure that we understand who we are talking to or who we are talking about. If someone is a kind of person who needs fire, and you come like water, you're not going to get anything.
You will know it.
And then there are people who are calm. They don't need force. They don't need fire. You come with them with all the power, you've already lost them.
Yeah.
So you need to study the people you're demanding accountability from, so that you come to them according to that which can work and which can allow them
Now
to open up.
you talked of asking for this accountability in love, and you have shared strategies of how that can be done. So how do we do this, making sure that we are building a healthy relationship? Because I would need you to explain to us some of the challenges that come with it, like has been our friends, has been our family, the spouses, or we are in a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
There are some challenges that come with it. So you can explain to us some of the few challenges, and then also how we can be able to deal with it.
Okay, first of all, some challenges that come with demanding accountability is resistance. Not everybody loves to give accountability in life.
Right.
Even those of you who are watching, you might discover there is someone you're demanding accountability from. The moment you begin to call that person to give answers to things that are expected in his or her life, a kind of resistance might pop up. And sometimes it is also the challenge of finding out bitter truths you don't like. You end up meeting other issues in this person's life that just get you angry. You get provoked, you get pitched off, and you realize the flow is already affected. But how you can deal with that is sometimes, first of all, giving it time. There are people who are demanding accountability from them. You're expecting a report in 2 days, but in 4 or 5 days is not yet ready. While professionalism will insist that it must stay in 2 days, but sometimes you might have to give them a little room. Not too much of it, but a little room, just so that you can gain allowance for yourself and also for them to cope up. And then sometimes one of the things you have to do is to talk to them and find out what could be the issue. I'm referring to a private talk. There are people who struggle to give accountability. And you do your best to push them, it's not working. You do your best to do everything, it's not working. And sometimes you might need to do a background check of this person's life. what could be happening, what could be going on, what could be making things not to work. Maybe there's a personal struggle in his life, a personal struggle in her life.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have a genuine battle if they explain to you, okay, I don't mean the battle itself is genuine, but I mean a genuine reason for issues in their lives. If you come to know, then you gain some percentage of understanding for them. So you might need to do a background check and find out what could be the cause of the struggle, what could be the cause of the challenge, what could be the reason as to why this person is acting the way he or she is acting. And with a good background check, perhaps chances are high you can come to a place where you can fetch out a good accountability from this person after some level of finding out, without crushing the relationship, without putting wounds to the relationship. Otherwise, without some of those parameters, you may get the accountability, but you may lose the relationship.
I see you have really mastered this very well. So have you reached a situation where you wronged somebody and you have to make amends with it?
Sure.
Okay. Do you mind sharing with us?
I had a situation. I offended him.
Okay.
So I needed to take accountability for myself and for my actions. I was a little bit ashamed to do that. Like, how will I get to do this? But I realized our friendship meant so much to me, and our relationship was a priceless relationship to me. So I had to be accountable, and got over to him and said, hey brother, I realized off-road, overboard, and I said things I shouldn't have said, because in attempting to express what I thought I was right in, far beyond. So I'm sorry for my words, I'm sorry for what I've done. Will you please mind to forgive me?
Okay.
And he was like, wow, this is great. I didn't imagine you coming to say that. And it ended up fixing our relationship well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it felt like he didn't see it coming.
Yeah, he really didn't see it coming. You know, some of us, there are certain things people don't expect from us.
You're right.
Yeah, people can expect a hit from certain types of people, but some of us, I think people believe we are always water.
Okay.
Calm, gentle. But then once in a while, something like that pops up, and all of a sudden, you're expressing out to someone, you know what, you messed me up, and I need to let you know you did that.
Have to give accountability for this without them getting it wrong. You know, these days, most relationships that we have, people want it to be like we are equals.
Yeah.
We are equals. So one party demanding for accountability may seem like overruling for the other.
Yeah.
So how do we prioritize accountability given in our romantic relationships without jeopardizing the relationship?
First of all, I must say, in that romantic relationship, I use the word romantic in a vast way. It can be in a love relationship, but also in other spheres of life. Though in other spheres of life it might not be the word romantic, but the level of that closeness or attachment in a relationship. One of the things I have to say is you look at the level of maturity of the person you're demanding accountability from. Let's say in a romantic relationship, even in a romantic relationship, there are levels of maturity.
Yeah.
There are people, you say something to them, they have already understood you from the head to the bottom.
But then there is this one.
Then there is this one. Even the smallest thing you think has already been understood or can be understood as easily as possible, you're still fighting just to gain understanding. So you have to find out the depth of this person in maturity. So if you found the person's deep, and then you handle things according to the level of that person. And then in case, of course we are human, even in a romantic relationship or in very close relationships or in spiritual relationships, even maybe in church, whichever level and whichever type, you will discover that along the way of demanding responsibility, somebody might always feel a little bit uneasy. And sometimes when that comes up, you might have to give them time to process that. And because let's say, for example, I'm demanding an accountability from you, or you are demanding an accountability from me, and then all of a sudden I'm already pitched off, and you might need to give me some time to process that kind of situation. Then the next day or next time I come with a better thinking and maybe a better answer. So in that high level relationship, when it comes to issues of accountability, we must be able to look at the level of understanding, reasoning, and depth of this person. And then number two, we should also look at the situations that have caused the need for accountability. Let me try to explain that well.
Okay.
Situational demands for accountability vary. There are situations that you have to push all the way to the last limit, and you must fetch every accountability to the last dot. You can't leave even an inch. But then there could be some that you can end up compromising some. And I think we have to define, there are moments when you realize it's not worth fighting for it too bad. Sometimes let it go for the sake of bringing sanity and health in that relationship.
Wow.
But if it's necessary that we must push all out to the end, then we can still continue to do so, but maintain can I say the SOPs, the standard operating procedures of maintaining that relationship, so that this accountability demand does not kill it.
Now there is one very important thing you mentioned, that if this person is really not getting it, you give them time.
Yeah.
So I want to ask this question: how much time can I give for someone? Because you never know, this person might be hiding under the shadow of I am not understanding, and yet it's a pushback.
How much time? I will say not too much time.
Okay.
But at least a reasonable time. Maybe a week or a day or a month, depending on the full range. Let's say if something demanded in accountability within a 1 year time scope, maybe we can say, in case certain issues need fixing, alignment and policing, one could say maybe, let's say 1 month.
Okay.
But if an issue demands an accountability of 1 year scope, and then another 1 year is killed as an allowance, I think we are not doing good stewardship.
It becomes unrealistic.
It becomes unrealistic, and it can even become an abuse to submission, because the person who is supposed to submit will say, after all, I played my games and he has added for me 1 more year. The next time we want to do it again.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. While it's important to give time, it shouldn't also be taken like it's all the time in the world. Yeah, time must still be given its rules to function and operate. But at least a reasonable time. But regardless of the amount of time, the time given as an allowance should be vetted to keep checking whether there is an improvement. For example, if I'm supposed to give accountability for something, and I am given a 1 month extra allowance, and within the 1 month extra time, I'm all relaxed, not even minding that a task is lying on my neck. So my seniors or superiors or whoever I'm supposed to be accountable to need to keep checking me out to know the progress of my response to that demand of accountability. So it shouldn't be left flat. Not too much time, at least a reasonable time, but also not a lot of time, but it's still, even the time, even if it's 1 day, even if it's just some hours, even if it's a month, it should be kept under under check to be able to know if there's a progress, there's an improvement, and there is a response. Because you can give somebody all the time, at the end you discover not even a single improvement has been done. It will be a wastage of time.
Now, I want us to talk to the people who are married, or the people who are in a relationship, a romantic relationship, hoping to get married one day. Okay. What are the red flags that someone can see in their partner that shows that this partner is actually not giving accountability?
Red flags of a person not giving accountability, I will say resistance.
Okay.
There are people who are ideally supposed to give accountability, but then the time you're asking for accountability is when they're resisting and they come all out. Why do you want this? And then they become aggressive. I think that's a red flag. And then number 2 is I'll say moods of life. There are people who don't say words, but they communicate through moods.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. At a time a person is supposed to speak out and expected accountability, you discover all of the sudden moods are not cooperating. Now everything is beginning to go to another direction. That's a red flag. Sometimes somebody is just telling you, I don't need to give you answers for whatever you want to get from me. And then of course when you see the moods change, when you see the clouds are heavy, you keep quiet. So okay, I'm supposed to get an answer here over certain things, but now we have heavy clouds all over, so I think I don't need to push so far here. That's a red flag. And another red flag is performance. I think this I'm mentioning things that probably look so slim. Yeah,
but
they are realities.
Very great impact also.
They can be a person who will give you their very best at a certain time, but then all of the sudden, check them after some time, you discover it's like they have gone from up to down. Performance just dies in their life. They are not doing what they used to do. They can't perform, they can't do, and that is something many people don't know. In families, in fact, it happens a lot. You discover suddenly a woman has been so active, doing a lot, giving her all for the family, giving her all for this marriage, and whatever she was doing for the family, she will not hold back anything. Then a point comes, all of the sudden it's like a flat tire just happened in her life. She's not performing, she's not doing anything, and probably there is an accountability she's demanding. Probably the man did something, she expected a response, she expected the man to be accountable for certain actions. She probably spoke about it a number of times and the man didn't respond. Then all of a sudden, you will notice in her performance. And what I'm saying can be either side. You will notice maybe the man has changed, the woman has changed, and I'm trying to make it broad. It can happen in any sphere of life. So performance is another red flag. So when you see someone who used to be the best of himself, the best of herself,
the withdrawal.
All of a sudden there's this sudden withdrawal. Performance has just died.
Wow.
There's probably a need for accountability somewhere. Yeah.
And people have to start checking themselves and see what is wrong, checking all the corners.
Yeah. They need to check the corners around, check what could have gone wrong. And if the grace of God leads you to find that exact point, you'll discover suddenly the person pops up from down again.
Yeah. Yes, they become themselves again.
It can happen in a workplace. Somebody was the best staff in a company, in an organization. All of a sudden, you notice all that energy is gone.
Yeah.
And if you are keen, you discover something is wrong. This man is not the way he used to be. This lady, when she came in, she gave us all her energy. But all of a sudden, something is not happening. And that withdrawal of excellence in performance is a signal that probably something demands accountability. Demands a word somewhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You have explained that in a whole more aspect that I hope we have all understood. Thank you so much for watching West Nile TV. We shall bounce back in the next segment. But then keep it in mind, accountability given in a relationship is very, very important. Whether be in a romantic relationship or a work relationship or relationship with family or any aspect of yourself in, accountability is very, very paramount in maintaining that particular relationship. And accountability is very, very good in all aspects of your life. Focus on it and just be honest. And fear, anxiety, or nervousness, and so on, all those negative feelings, they will go, they will not come. If you are honest and you give all your best, giving accountability is not going to be a problem. So let's bounce back shortly. Pastor Michael Maliamungu, all the way from Koboko. He has joined us in the show, the Real Talk Show, and he's giving us a lot of things, experiences from what he knows, from what he has, and we're talking about giving accountability. I had said this invokes actually a lot of feelings in people, both positive and negative. And we broke off when he was saying something about accountability given in a romantic relationship. But now we want to take it personal. But first, welcome back from that break. Okay. Have you had a moment where you had to hold yourself accountable for something you did, like overcoming your personal struggle and weakness? I know you shared a story of how you went to somebody and apologized for what you did, but do you have struggles and the weaknesses, and how do you hold yourself accountable in such scenario?
Okay, fixing it in context. Since we are handling a bracket of relationship-related issues, let me bring a real situation with my family, with my wife. There were moments I had to come out and be accountable to her for certain things within me, because I think it goes back to, kind of related to what I said earlier, but there was a point when I needed to account to her for something that I was going through within me, and I felt I was a little bit. Okay, I don't know how I can put it best, but let me find a way to fix it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, sometimes for us men, we want to push too fast, and women usually come a bit slow, and we feel, okay, there was this one thing I really felt I wanted to go fast, and she was, to me, in my perspective, she was coming out slow. But then I think at some point I took things fast the way I wanted it to go, but of course it didn't allow things to flow well. But of course I had to come in down and say, okay, I think what I've done is this, but I feel it has not gone well. What I want us to do is this. So I had to come up with the aspect of coming down to the communication table and desk So how do I handle issues of accountability in my personal life? I think I usually love to major on communication.
Wow.
And I love to call the person concerned. I think I've done that with my wife many times. Sometimes we have to go out. I think there are moments we just have to literally leave home, go somewhere else, leave the kids alone. It's only me and her to talk about issues that I have to be accountable to her, that she has to be accountable to me, have a real deep talk. By the time we come back there, we have handled issues in that aspect of our relationship as a husband and wife journey. We have fixed a lot that needs to be fixed. So to me, it might be different for somebody else, but to me, communication is key. It's one of the great tools I use to prioritize accountability. Because even if I may demand an accountability from you or from someone else, if we don't communicate, there is no miracle of transferring that accountability out of the person. And I can't get it by osmosis. I can't get it in another way. We must open the channel of communication, which sometimes is easy to say, not easy to practice. Sometimes literally.
Now, let me chip in a little. This is coming at the right time because someone is asking a question here. Tom Brown is saying, don't miss out the aspect of husbands giving accountability to their wives. Now you've talked about communication. Is there something else you can add? Let's just take Tom Brown's question now. How can husbands give accountability to their wives? Or we can also talk vice versa. Okay,
Tom Brown is right. You know, most of the times when we talk about accountability, men feel women should account to them. And then now they are the big guys. But it doesn't work that way. A healthy relationship demands accountability from both sides.
Yes. So
for men, there's usually that uneasy feeling, you know, I'm in charge, I'm in control. Or why should I give accountability to her? But what men should do is understand the value of the relationship. The importance of that marriage, the importance of that relationship is the importance of that being together means so much. It means the whole world to you and everything. So how can they be able to come down into that? They should be able to understand that even being a man does not mean you are beyond everything. Being a man is, yes, God gave us leadership, God gave us a charge to be the head, but that does not mean we are not accountable. We even have to be accountable to our children.
Yes, that's true.
Sometimes I have to come to my children and say, I'm sorry. And it sounds funny to them, and then they understand that's still accountability. Now if you can do it with your children, then you find it even easier with your wife. You find it easier with your neighbor. Maybe there could be a neighbor who's messing you up, and things are somehow, even as a man, you have to learn to take accountability. While the neighbor could be wrong for certain things, but if you also study carefully, probably even on your side something is wrong.
You could be the one.
Yeah, you could be the one. Sometimes we rush on things before we have seen also our side of the story well. So men can be accountable by learning to understand that they are not always right.
You know,
being a man doesn't mean you are always right.
You know, I grew up in a family where we were given opportunity. Even a 5-year-old child can call for a family meeting and say, it is in the family meeting that you have the opportunity to express yourself and say, Daddy, you know what? This you did the other time wasn't right. And just to give this particular example, there was a moment where my parents were sending kids sometimes at night to the training center. So this particular child, my brother, he was around 6 or 7. He felt like he was insecure. He called for a family meeting and said, this is not right. And my father took it up. It's like every time we have a family meeting, he would point that out. This is an elder brother, but then by the time I grew up, we all got to know the story that even the parents have to stand accountable for their actions towards their children.
Because those children are your continuation.
Yes.
Tomorrow when you end, they continue. So if you can't account to them, tomorrow when they get messed up, you blame yourself. Even even there are moments children will demand accountability from us.
Yes.
Say, Mommy, why are you doing this? Daddy, why are you doing this?
And you're not going to cane them because they're asking you questions.
Yeah. And they'll give you a hard question. You answer them. Give them the answer they need. Because the excellency of that child's tomorrow may depend on that accountability you give.
You're right.
Yeah.
Now, leaving that aside, let's talk about leadership. You are a pastor and you are a leader. I know, even if not in the church, but at home, you're the head of the family, and in other groups, you are also a leader, and you have had a lot of impact in the communities where you are being identified as a leader. What strategies do you use to promote accountability giving and also empower others to give accountability in the teams that they're serving?
When it comes to leadership, I usually encourage certain inbuilt realities to monitor or to work in this. Like number one, to make it brief, I love to speak to the conscience of the people I work with. You know, you can push a person from outside, but if you speak to a person's conscience, you lead him or her from inside. So I love to do accountability by accountability in leadership. I would love to get it by, first of all, making sure that I speak to people's inner being, so that they do it naturally, not by compulsion.
Okay.
I don't like it when people have to submit to my leadership by force. I love it when they are drawn from the conviction, drawn from inside.
Yes.
That's one thing. So I have to work on building their conviction. So how the question one will ask will be, how do you do that? I think I love to build a relationship with them deeper, and I love to be there for them when they need me.
Okay.
I love to play my part of the role well. You know, when you are a leader, I think one of the things, I may not say I'm the best leader, I'm still learning leadership. But one of the things I've so far learned is that if you are a leader, people are not looking for a leader who gives instructions and is or just watching people to do it. People are watching for a leader who knows what is appointing everyone to.
Okay.
So whenever I have an opportunity to lead, I want to be there myself. In fact, the heaviest part I want to take it myself, the lighter part we can share with others. But I want to demonstrate to my team that whatever I'm speaking to you, I'm not just speaking to you
but you can do it.
What I do. Sometimes I can just intentionally take the lead and do a huge chunk of it. I want them to see that I'm responsible for this assignment. And then again I switch. Sometimes I get behind, lead them, let them go into it, do it, and then I come in to check results, identify how things go. But all in all, I want to make sure that they know that what I'm doing with full knowledge, and I feel what they feel. I'm ready to be part of them. I'm not just like throwing them, then I'm out of it. I am in the process from the start to the end. I want them to know I'm there for them. So I learned that if leadership goes with that kind of direction, people find it easy to account to you.
Okay.
Even sometimes before you ask for it, they're already giving you accountability.
You're right. And this strategy I've just said allows people to own it, like they own the team. This is our thing, and it's not like it belongs to you as the leader. Because if all of us are involved, then I am part of it myself. I own it, and even if the leader is not there, any one of them can just take up.
Anyone can take up.
So
actually, I love leadership. Is one area I would love to measure on in my future days.
Wow.
So I would say I'm a student of leadership.
Okay.
So I value the little I've so far learned, and I'm looking forward to learn more. But one thing I've realized is this: people perform best when you show them that you are part of them, you value them, you respect them, you honor them, you understand what they are going through, and you are there yourself. You are not just telling them, go and do it, go and do it, go and do it. They see you also in it. You are part of it, you are in front, you are behind, you are in the middle, you are running everywhere. and you are making sure they are safe. You in every part of their life, you in every part of their assignment, which is a little bit a heavy task, but there's a grace for it.
Yeah.
Once people see that in you, and they see that you're doing this out of love for them, love for the assignment, love for the task, you yourself, you're not forcing it, it's coming natural in you.
Yeah.
I realize people give you accountability without you asking.
Without even you asking.
And they submit, even if you are small, they will honor you in your small position there, they will honor you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're talking about giving results, right? Because after all this, after the work, the teamwork and so on, results always come. So how do you hold the team members responsible for the outcome of the results?
First of all, I'll let them know the team spirit matters for the outcome of the results.
Okay.
Everyone plays a key role for the final result. Just like in football, different positions, but at the end the score line is for the whole team.
Yeah.
So how I hold the team accountable, one of the things I love to do is I love to check the loopholes in the team. And where I have discovered one, I address it immediately as a loophole. Let me say, for example, let's say in a team of many people were doing something. Then I've noticed this stream is going well, this one is going well, this one is going well, but this other angle, there is a flow. Then with my leadership wisdom, I see through, I discover the gap is in area so and so, direction, maybe so and so is the reason. Then I usually like to come in quickly and spot out the individual or the individuals involved in the area where there is a collapse, and I address that area. Because just like in a team, when a coach notices the defense line is getting weak, he must replace a defender, because he has to win the game. And then while the defense might be well, the midfield might, I'm not a footballer, but sometimes those illustrations can help. The midfield might be having some problems. A coach who wants to win the game must identify the midfield as a problem and probably bring someone else from the bench or something like that. Do the same. I think that's one thing I love to do. It's just a principle that I love to transfer across. Where you've seen the gap, fill it quickly. So that means, as a leader, observe the entire process. Be there. Don't watch your assignment from the side mirror. Watch it face to face, and it helps you to see what you need to see, and you fill the gaps in. And that way, people will just realize there is a flow, and accountability becomes not a matter to be struggled with.
Key point: don't watch your result from the side mirror.
The side mirror.
Come face to face with it. And face it, how they call, man to man. Okay. Now you had brought in an illustration where an area is not going right, and you identify that particular person and help them, or else replace them, do the necessary just to bring up the team. How do you balance empathy and understanding? You don't want to tear down this team. Because there is also this kind of people, once they are corrected or once they're pointed out, they feel like the effort is not appreciated, or they tend to withdraw and so on. So how do you consider this person's growth in empathy and understanding while helping them give accountability for that result?
I think one thing I usually love to do while balancing empathy and understanding is I'll pick something we said earlier. First of all is understanding personalities. When I lead a team or lead people, I love to understand the personalities, because there are people, as you said, who don't love to be corrected. As a team leader, you're looking forward to see that things are fixed, and in attempting to demand accountability so that things flow well, somebody gets angry, somebody is offended and doesn't want to be addressed. So one of the things I have to do is leadership requires that you go with both sides. Empathy is where you might have to bring the kind side of your leadership so that you still let things flow. But on the other side, that may not always be the case. Sometimes you need to get things done at all costs. And if it requires you to be tough for a moment, be tough, but then later go back and neutralize. When I say be tough, I don't mean crush the person, but in leadership sometimes you don't have to compromise the assignment. You really need to get things done. You need the work done. You need the job done. Maybe millions of money depend on this assignment. Maybe lives are dependent on this thing. Maybe a generation is in the danger if this one thing is not done. And here is the team in your hands, and you have to choose between empathy and understanding. You weigh the size of the task to be carried out. So if there is no need to compromise it, you may need to come out all strong as a leader that moment, and then afterwards you go and also seek a reconciliation ground, because a leader can be hard, but he still knows how to neutralize. And then sometimes you may have to really give empathy, but to me I will say weigh the size of the task and assignment. Sometimes lives depend on that, resources depend on that. So much can be endangered and lost if this thing in your hands is not handled. And the team member is jeopardizing by playing with it. So if you really value that, you may have to do what is necessary. And even sometimes in companies, you may realize a job might go to a point of sacking staff, or sometimes putting someone on discipline for a point, because what is to be achieved is so much important that it's a great risk to allow any reason to jeopardize it. So in such a case, you may have to stand as a leader strong, get the job done, then later on go and address, because I can still be hard and get the job done, then later I come to you and say, you know what, I may have offended you by what I did, but I want you to understand that I did it because we needed to get things done. But I want you to know that you're still an important part of the team. If you can do A, B, C, D, we are still good to go. So if I hurt you, but I needed to get things done, but we need to flow.
So is this the same strategy we can also use for someone who is refusing to take accountability for their poor performance? Because there are also this kind of people, as I say, they push back and they live in denial, or they play a lot of blame games and they're always there in the team.
I have to say a hard statement. There are people in teams everywhere, but the best of your efforts can't change them.
That's true.
Probably where they came from before, it was the same attitude. Nobody can tell them anything, and nothing can transform them. And in such a case, I think there is this hard saying that people like this, at some point, you may have to let life teach them.
Okay.
Yeah, what that means is there's a point where people withdraw from them, and they endanger the progress of everything, and then you realize you speak and nothing changes. In such a case, you may have to let them go for the sake of things flowing. But otherwise, it shouldn't be unhurried. There should still be an effort to transform them. Even that completely non-performing person in a team, there is somebody in his or her life he can listen to.
Yeah, true.
In fact, some people may not listen to everybody, but there is one person, the instincts will connect. That person will realize, I may not listen to everyone, but when so and so talks to me, I can listen.
Yeah.
So let the option of letting that person out be probably the last, because everyone is resourceful. I don't know how. Most of the time, such people who don't perform or are to be pushed into things, there is something good in them. If it is explored, it can do a great thing in the team. So if possible, find everywhere around, but should every attempt fail, let life teach that person. Someday they will learn.
Wow. So we are categorizing these people into one, those who push back, Then secondly, those whose results are terribly affecting the team. And thirdly, these people who refuse to take accountability. I think we are handling all of them in one aspect. And one thing I am really seeing here is the issue of attitude. Their attitude towards the whole thing, because you are talking about helping them improve. Okay, first of all, making sure that the team progresses, and then after they're going back to reconcile with them, and then showing them if you could do this, this and this. But then the whole point I will talk about is their attitude also. Their attitude will determine whether they will go on or not. As I said, letting them go should be the last option. But then I also see that most times when people are let go, most of the efforts to the negative effort is from their side. Yeah, it's from their side, because after really helping this person and they feel like my effort is not appreciated, that's when people fail to come into a balance. I may feel I want to help you, but you will feel I'm pushing you away. And obviously, if we don't understand ourselves, work will be a very, very difficult place for us to thrive in, and the team will obviously go down. So one person will have to take the effort.
And unfortunately, attitude is not something that can be made or changed in a day. Whatever attitude that person has carried into the team could be built over 20 years or 30 years. It has taken time for that attitude to be formed in that person. Now the team rules are requiring that that attitude should be changed, and sometimes they find it difficult. They find it difficult, but there should always be an effort, because at the end of it all, a team is meant to achieve something.
Yeah, true.
And if that one attitude is standing on the way of achieving that thing, then that attitude must be dealt with.
Okay, your attitude should be 100% positive if you really want to thrive in all aspects of life. We're not talking about just one aspect, but we are looking at all the aspects of life in which you are going to give accountability for. Thank you so much for hooking out to West Nile TV and the Real Talk Show. We have come to the end of the first hour of this show. As we are going to enter the second hour, it is now time. In the last 30 minutes, we are going to be answering your questions and probably reading your comments and whatever you are putting there. This is the time. Don't go away. Hook to West Nile TV wherever you're watching from, Star Times, Zuku, and the Zambo, even the YouTube page. Let's get back shortly. Accountability given in leadership. You're welcome back from that break.
Thank you.
Okay, now in leadership and even all aspects of life, there is something called decision making. And for whatever decision you make, there is a consequence. And each and every one of us will have to take responsibility for whatever comes as the result. The Bible even says that you reap what you sow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, in decision making, how do you empower others to take responsibility for the decisions that they are making? Like, you know, I'm making this decision, but we may be a team. I will not have to push the blame on someone. When the consequences come, I'll have to accept it. How do you empower someone to take responsibility for that?
You know, when it comes to decision making, there's a great insight we must always understand.
Okay.
First of all, you make a decision, then the decision makes you.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. And that actually is what goes on in every one of our lives. You see, you first make a decision, then the decision makes you. And all of us are products of the decisions we have made. So in leadership and in areas of decision making, one of the things we have to check out is to make sure that the team, they follow the decisions that have been made, either by them at their level or by the general leadership.
Okay.
Yeah, and then everyone should first there should be a decision, and then the decision should make us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
those who have made decisions at their level, they must be accountable to the decisions they have made, because at the end the decision must make them.
Must also make them.
Yes. And at the general level of the whole leadership sphere, there are decisions that have been made in the company, in organization, in the business, in the ministry, in the church. Decisions that have been made, they must be followed, so that the decisions make us.
They make us.
Yeah.
So have you ever made a difficult decision and stood accountable for the outcome?
Yeah. I think I'll point to one. Maybe this might not be relevant to everyone's experience, but this is mine.
Okay.
When I decided to go into ministry.
Wow.
I decided, of course I'm a pastor, when I decided to go into ministry. It is not just as easy as it sounds. I had a lot to deal with that decision. And of course, I had to be accountable for that decision to myself, to my family, to my community, and as you said, ultimately to God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to be accountable for that decision. So there is a decision which you can make. And as I said, I'll keep going back to that decision, that statement, that when it comes to decision making, first you make the decision, then the decision makes you. So I had to make that decision. Now here I am, the decision is making
you. Yeah. And it's a positive result.
It's a positive result. So the result is a report card of the decision you have made and the processes you have followed in the decision.
Okay.
So leadership demands that decision making is taken. Actually, in leadership, if you don't make decisions, then you are not a leader. And also, if you can't follow decisions that have been made, the leadership still has cracks. So we must encourage, and we can't always make all the decisions. Sometimes we have to allow even other people to make certain decisions. We can make grand decisions, but they can make some micro decisions.
Yeah.
And then we monitor the progress of the decisions. After they make the decisions, we ensure that the decision makes them. And as the decision makes them, then we see the progress of the team.
Okay. So you are a kind of democratic leader, where everyone makes decisions, like there is freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and all that sort. Then we come into an argument and we pick the strongest.
Yeah, I think I love that, because I don't like it when I fix everyone in a corner and just function by my brain. Because I realized everyone in a team is very unique in their own way.
Yes.
If you force every one of them and dictate them on what only you know, you may limit certain things you could have gotten out of their lives.
That's true.
So I prefer that I can give the grand picture and then allow them to make some micro decisions, and then maybe I come in to correct and adjust and monitor, and it might not work that way for everyone, but that's what works best for me. And then people feel, wow, I have a room to be to exercise what I have. They feel honored, they feel appreciated, they feel there is a room for what is in them, and they love being there more, because what is in them finds expression.
That's true.
Yes, the inner being within them is finding expression under the big picture, and they will love being there.
Yeah, that's true, because when people are given the opportunity to express themselves, it's a place where they feel free and they feel accepted. So how do you prioritize accountability in making decisions that affect people around you, like family, friends, spouse, and so on?
When it comes to decision making around family, friends, one of the things I have to do is considering also the family relation, the family network. Not every decision is important, by the way. There are also decisions that are, because not every decision is to be by the, so you also have to see through the family line and see which decisions should I take for now. For example, 10 people can make 10 decisions here now, but can we take them all?
No.
We we may have to vet which decision carries more weight than which one, and which one can take the family from one place to another right now, which one can take us to achieve something faster or at a certain period of time. So when it comes to the area of decision making, and how it affects family members and friends, we look at the weight. But then number two, I don't know if my views may agree with everyone's views, but sometimes we should also balance the acceptance of the decisions.
Wow.
Let me explain. There's a mystery in this.
Please do.
Let's say we are 5 people in a family, and now and then we are all bringing decisions to the table. Let's say yesterday I took your decision. And then today I take your decision. The next day I take your decision. The other day I take your decision. 5 months later I'm still taking your decision. And then I'm ignoring the decisions of these other family members. A point will come, it will be like, he always listens to one person.
Yes.
And ignores the rest. And then I put a silent fire in the family.
Yes.
So what a leader must do in wisdom is balance listening to others. At another point also come to the other one. Hey, what did you say your decision is? Can we see through? What is the wisdom behind this? You know, everyone loves it when they are listened to. Everyone loves it when their ideas find expression and acceptance. Yeah. So if in a family decisions are taken and decisions are accepted and balanced, if I take 1, 2, 3, and then maybe another day I say, okay, it is good, but I think let's first put this one down. The person will feel like, okay, it's not bad. The other day he took my decision, it's just this case. But if it's like every day, all the time, I'm aligning with the decision of one family member and then always rubbing off others,
they will tend to also withdraw.
And then they will withdraw.
And there's a tendency of fighting.
There's a tendency of fighting. And then the family begins to get problems.
You know, even the communities and the families have come to this kind of scenario where decisions are now taken based on how much somebody has in their pocket. Yeah. And if this guy has a lot of money, no matter how bad his views are, they'll always be taken. Sure. And this has broken so many families, by the way. And it has killed, as you had said, it has put in silent fires in the communities, and people just go for meetings and the rest keep quiet. With a lot of valuable and very important views, they keep quiet, and then decisions are just taken and there is no growth. Actually, the people who have gone for meetings, from the start of the meeting to the end, they are quiet. Yeah. And even asking them, can you say something? They are on their phone now in today's generation. And it's not because they don't have anything to say. No, there's something so rich vibrating in them, but sometimes it's the feeling that, you know, even if I say it, my decisions are usually not considered. My voice has no place here, so I rather hold it to myself. So while that is being done, the family or that community is being affected in one way or another. But when that balancing is put in place, everyone feels I'm in. Yes. Everyone feels I'm part of the team. And they will always love to give their contribution. In fact, they will think ahead for you and for the organization, the company, whatever. So at the beginning of the show, I mentioned that when people talk about accountability given, most of the mindset goes to money issues. Money, yeah. Now, it's always beyond that. It's always beyond that. Yeah. But I want us to tackle that aspect now. Something called personal finance. Because there's this saying like, it is my money, however I use it. It's my money. People even borrow money from their own businesses and fail to pay back because it is me, the business is mine and the money is mine, and there is a lot of poor financial management because we fail to account to ourselves of the money that we use. Okay, this money is mine, but it is for another aspect of life. I pick it and misuse it for another, and I fail to pay back. So there is a lot of chaos, and I'm not like performing in that financial aspect as expected. So what are the practices that someone can use to hold themselves accountable for their own financial management?
First of all, it is knowing the rules of money.
Okay. The rules of money. What are the rules?
Money has rules and the principles that only belong to it, and they cannot be broken.
Okay.
If you break them, you are in trouble. First of all, money listens to money.
Okay, money listens to money as in how?
Money, okay, my words may be complicated, but money loves to go where there is money.
Okay.
What I'm saying might be too hard, but give yourself time to process it.
Okay.
You'll get it, even the listener. Money loves to go where there is money. Money loves to listen to money.
Okay, are you talking as in the aspect of investing or?
Whether investing, even saving or anything.
Okay.
Money attracts money.
Oh, money attracts money.
Let me put it that way. Okay.
Yeah.
Money attracts money. So if you're dealing with the finances and we put all the recklessness involved, then we endanger the flow, we endanger the further flow of money. So that means we must handle that and be able to be accountable to ourselves. So you don't just say, okay, whatever I have, whatever I've got, after all it's my money, after all I got it, it's my salary, it's my this. If we don't put the rules of money to check, then we will discover that money doesn't stay around us, doesn't stay with us, and we get today, it's gone, just because we are not accountable even to ourselves. And then number two, we should look at the aspects of the structures that we are operating under when it comes to money. Let's say in a workplace, you have people ahead of you, you are submitting to, and then there is this financial area that you're supposed to submit to the person. That channel requires a respect that will give accountability for financial aspects. Otherwise, let's say you're my boss, and for some reason I've decided not to honor that.
Okay.
For some reason, let's say I feel I'm also big. Why should I honor you? Yes, you're my boss. I can decide to say you're my boss, I can decide to say you are my boss on paper, but in real life, I feel I'm my own boss. You
just refuse to accept.
I refuse to accept that. So that is going to alter my attitude. So I will realize that monies that come through my hands that I'm supposed to submit accountability for to you, because I've not honored that flow, I will become careless, and even I will develop a kind of an after all mentality. After all, I feel bigger than you. After all, I'm okay. After all, you will do nothing to me. So one of the things we can do to ourselves to bring financial sanity is honoring the cadres of life that we have found ourselves in. Even if it is in your business, in your private business, even if it is in a family, even if it is in a workplace, those cadres, God did not put them there for nothing. They are there to allow work to flow, consistency, but they also help us to understand management of things, which include resources, which include money. Yeah.
So breaking this down, how do you have already talked about how we can take ourselves accountable for the finances generally. So how can I hold myself accountable for my own money, for my spending, my personal spending?
Okay.
Yes.
I would say number one, record keeping.
Okay.
Most of us spend money without keeping record.
That's true.
Many of us get money now and we rush into spending. So the fact that we have not ventured into record aspect of it, you want to know how much is going out already, and before you realize it, it's gone.
And you can't even account for it. You don't know what you did with it. Yeah.
You can go to the market, buy things, come back after some time you can't even remember. There's a level where you can't even remember what you bought. You can't even remember what you spent for. And you are sure no thief stole from you. Nobody broke into your house. Literally no one touched your pocket. If anybody, it is you. But you can't remember what you spent on. So I think it's advisable that find record keeping strategies and tools. Whatever you spend on, take records. And your computer and your phone, on paper, somewhere, write down things.
Okay. And
that way you will be accountable to yourself for your money. Number 2 is planning. Most of us, truth be told, we are poor in planning.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't plan. So because we don't plan, we spend for anything that comes in front of us.
Right.
And if we are to really be accountable even for our personal finances, there are things we should really learn to say no to. If it doesn't fall in the plan, you can have the guts to say, okay, money, here you are my money, I'm in charge, but my plans are A, B, C, D. Here comes a need. Sweat is great, it's touching, it's sometimes heartbreaking, but we should have the muscles to say to some of those things, sorry, you have not fallen in plan, so wait. If we don't have that, we will always keep on throwing money where there is no plan. And in that area, we will discover we are not doing justice to that money which is in our hands, which is ours. At the end, we have problem with our own accountability. And then in number 3, I will talk about extravagance.
Wow.
This is a little bit different from it sounds closer to what I said earlier, but there's a difference. Yes, it sounds closer to poor planning, but it's a little bit different. Now, it is a little bit different because when it comes to extravagance, we're not talking about spending on things that literally sometimes you don't need.
Okay.
There is a spending on what is really necessary, but there is a spending just because you've come across what is nice, and you're not even thinking twice, no second thought. There is a party somewhere, there's a program somewhere, there is a nice thing I've come across. Yes, it's not part of the plan, but now the problem is bigger and I'm not honoring plan. The problem is even sometimes it takes you into debts. The money is not enough. You're rushing to a bank, and it's not wrong to pick a loan. But if you pick a loan for something which does not make sense, you have just put a stone on your neck, and it's going to keep weighing you down. So I think we should look into those areas. Don't spend for what you really don't need, and if you have to spend with understanding that I think this is necessary. You realize let's say you earn 300,000 a month, for example, and you want to spend 2 million a month. Now this is already causing, there's a reverse gear in operation. Instead of going forward, life is forcing you backwards. You're earning 500,000, your spendings are so far high, and we need to know what comes in and what goes out. That equation must be balanced well. If it's not, then we will have struggles in our own accountability to ourselves. And if we have problem with accountability to ourselves financially, that problem will be magnified much more, even in accountability financially to other sectors where we operate under.
I think we just have to draw the line in between what is priority and what is not, wants and needs. Because some of these things, you even get them and you just keep them there in the house. You don't get to use them. And the whole aspect is, I think what you're talking about, I've decided to summarize it for myself as allow yourself to control money, but don't let money to control you.
Exactly.
And if that is the principle, you'll really be able to plan, you'll be able to use these strategies appropriately and so on. But then we have come to also the half of the show already, and we are left with only 30 minutes to end this show. For now, let's get a short break, and we are coming back to conclude the show in the last final 30 minutes. We are still continuing with the aspect of money. Keep it in mind, we have not ended.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. See you.
Subscribe for 3 months to any package of your choice or grab an Azam TV kit and pay for 3 months and stand a chance to win life-changing rewards. Android smart TVs, fridges, motorcycles, and that is not all. You could walk away with free subscription or the grand prize of 20 million Ugandan shillings in cash. Yes, 20 million grand prize. Subscribe today and enter the draw. For more information, 031 2308 900 or visit any Azam TV dealer near you.
Azam TV, entertainment for everybody.
Look out for StarTimes Solar to unwrap your lighting and entertainment experience this Christmas. At only 700 shillings daily charge, get yourself a StarTimes S50 that comes with lighting, phone charging, strong lithium battery, radio with a flash port, and a Bluetooth speaker. For more entertainment needs, get yourself a StarTimes S130 that comes with an extra 32-inch TV screen and 2 years free StarTimes subscription. StarTimes Solar, more than just solar. Unwrap your holiday cheers with StarTimes this Christmas season. Starting the 15th of November, simply pay your monthly subscription for the next bouquet and automatically enjoy content on the next higher bouquet, plus a chance to win exciting prizes. Your gift box contains variety of local entertainment and fresh shows, exciting cartoon and fun kids entertainment, mega superstars, local and international, a memorable trip to Spain to watch a La Liga match. And that's not all. Lots of prizes to be won, including ZTE Nubia smartphones with free 15 GB Airtel data. StarTimes gift that keeps on giving. Merry Christmas. This message is powered by ZTE Nubia. Better for all.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Thank you so much for joining us once again in the final 30 minutes of the Real Talk Show that runs to you at West Nile TV every Saturday from the hour of 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We are here to serve you and to give you various topics that we think will make you grow. And I'm not alone at the studio, as you can see. I'm with Pastor Michael Maliamungu. Welcome back once again.
Thank you.
We broke up when we were talking about personal finance, how you can manage your own finance, and aspects of planning, aspects of not being extravagant. Now, this mostly I'll talk to ladies.
Yeah.
Personally, I used to do it too. Maybe even sometimes up to now, I still do it too. You go to a town and you have not really planned for it. You you saw a very nice thing.
Yeah.
You see a very nice thing and you just want to pick it without planning. There is one thing that I will give an example to. Even up to now, I cannot account for it, but it is just there. So I cannot say that it is not important to me, but I cannot also say that it is very, very important. It's not really a priority. It was a teddy bear.
Yeah.
You know, I went to town and I had some money that I left at home, so I didn't carry enough money. I went to town, I saw this beautiful teddy bear. It was even not in my mind at all to get a teddy. Yeah. But then because it was beautiful, it was like red mixed with white and it was really nice, I quickly thought of, there was nothing in my mind but just to get that teddy bear.
Yeah.
I had to pick a border, run back home, pick money and come and buy this thing.
Yeah.
It is not really, it wasn't a priority, it wasn't something I needed at that time, but I had to satisfy my ego. Sometimes money can control people, and if you don't take charge, you have to bow all the time, and you know it can become like a god. Even spending on the hair, up to people spend extravagantly on their hair, on their nails, on their looks, and end up sleeping hungry. Yeah. Because just they want to look good. Or so extravagancy is one thing that we really have to fight against. And then living a life that is not yours is also one thing that makes people spend a lot and fail to account for it. Yeah. You had talked about this that will lead you into going to borrow. To borrow, yeah. You go and borrow, you
because
take
now you're spending more than what's coming in.
Yes.
And you, just like you said, you want to be like others. Your neighbor is eating chicken every day.
You also want to eat.
You also want to eat chicken every day.
And there is this.
But you don't know that your pocket level is very.
There's this scenario now. Now women who stay in rents, you see the next door is having chicken. You also want chicken. If they have meat, you also want meat. Like every day, just a form of competition. It is not necessary.
It's not necessary.
It's not necessary. Now, the next thing I want to go into is this aspect of borrowing and investing and also saving. These are the three things you had talked about. You talked about saving, then you talked about borrowing. Borrowing, yeah. And also the aspect of investing. So how do you take accountability? How do you hold yourself accountable in these three aspects? One, borrowing. Two is investing, and three is savings. And these three are also very, very important. As you had said, money attracts money.
Money attracts money.
Yes.
When it comes to borrowing, savings, and investment, there is a way the three all need each other. You can't say absolutely that I will never borrow. That might be a hard place in life. A day might come when you are forced to borrow. But however, when you borrow with a realistic sense. Okay. Let's say I have a need that requires me to borrow 3 million. Then I go to the bank, I borrow 30 million. That borrowing is not realistic because the plan in my mind can only capture 3 million and the rest is going to be a waste. And I will pay price
you have to pay
for that mistake I've made. So borrowing is important, but it must be within purpose. There are people who have borrowed money and borrowed loans they didn't need, and it even had to make them to run to some run to Juba, some run to Kampala
because now the people are looking for them.
The owners of the money need their money, but now the money went into a wrong place that could not get management. So don't borrow for something that you cannot handle, your brain capacity can handle. So borrowing is important, but it should be within reason, within context, within the amount that you really need. Then number two, when it comes to savings, this is still one area we are poor in when it comes to accountability. Most people don't save money. Many don't. But here's the strategy to be accountable to yourself when it comes to saving. Somebody told me this years ago, and I found a lot of sense in it, that when you receive money in your hands, first pay yourself before you pay others.
Okay.
If you begin by paying others, you will always end with nothing. Yeah. first pay yourself. And that is a reference to savings. So once you've paid yourself something little, then you will go on and pay others, and then at the end there is something small left for you. Always begin by paying others you earn with nothing.
Yeah.
Because they will always outweigh whatever is in your hand.
That's true.
So one way we can be accountable in the area of saving is, I think it's a good advice to save and with others. When you get something, you get that salary, you get that little money, first pay yourself something. You say, I know I have a lot in the list, but yeah, of course, as a Christian, I will also advocate for tithe.
One thing I know is more money always comes with more responsibilities.
Yes, more money comes with more responsibilities. This might not, everyone might not believe in this, but as a Christian, I would say put your tithe aside and then get something for yourself, and then go on with other spendings. If you begin with other things, at the end, you will always end up with nothing. Yeah. And then when it comes to the area of investment, investments are far better than savings and borrowing. Investment is a high operation in the laws of money, because you're giving birth to something that will generate more money. So ideally, when it comes to life and the accountability of finances and resources, everyone should invest in something, because that is what will speak for you tomorrow. Okay. You are writing a document for you tomorrow, regardless of whether it is in whichever field, but investment is key. Actually, no matter how small one can earn, it's always advisable that we invest in something. No, and as I said this, I know many of us have failed in it. We are not saying that we are perfect, but it's the best thing to do. We must invest in something. It's good to borrow, but remember, after borrowing, you're going to go back and pay. There is a little bit of a mark timing there. It's good to save, but savings build up slowly. But savings must project something. It is advisable that savings must lead it to investment. If savings are kept as savings, and investment is not brought in, you may save for 5 years. One day you will go and withdraw that money and flush it out. It will be equivalent to not saving. There are people who have saved the money for a long time for a good reason, but they did not invest the money. And one day a need comes up and they look around, what do I have? The only thing I have is my savings. Then they go and flush out that account. And so they become like somebody who never saved at all. So at that point, this one who saved for 5 years and flushes it out in a day without investing that money becomes the same with another person who never saved anything at all. So investment is the higher level and the best level. So even if you have to buy a motorbike, you buy land, you build a house, you do something, put that money in a business that multiplies, investment is the best discipline in the financial structures.
So investment is the best. You can save, yes, as you save, also look onto the investment. Now the aspect of borrowing, we are not talking about borrowing to fancy your life or borrowing to maybe feed or what, but borrow to pay back. Whatever you borrow, make sure you pay it back. And a lot of people have built themselves a very bad reputation from the aspect of borrowing, where you borrow, you don't pay back, you're owing a lot of people, and a lot of friendships are broken because of that. So you also be clever, be wise as you're borrowing. Make sure you borrow an amount that you can pay back, or you borrow to invest. Invest and then be able to pay back. Now, this takes us to also the aspect of budgeting. I'll put it this way. Expenses, creating a budget and holding yourself accountable for your financial goals. So how do you track this? How do you track your expenses in order to make yourself accountable?
I said something a few minutes ago on record keeping. I will want to start there.
Wow, it's actually a repeat from there.
It's a repeat, yeah. If you know, these are simple things, but they are eating into our lives like cancer.
Wow.
most people don't keep record even of their spendings. And so the danger of that is, number one, you will not know whether you're spending rightly or not. You will not know whether you're spending on genuine things or not.
Yeah.
Number two, it can cause us to repeat our mistakes without realizing. There is this mistake you made 3 months ago, spending without even taking note. And then that repeat can come over now. And I mean the same thing can keep coming over and over and over. And you will realize that over time we're just rotating around the same place. And then you see other people just flying, and somebody has just started the other day, is already far. Let me say something that may sound strange here. There are people who literally progress at the speed of light when it comes to financial areas. And most of times society believes that these are people who have gone underwater, they have done the rituals. What I have to believe, certain people are literally progressing because they just mastered the laws of money. They mastered how finances are to work. They mastered how they do what they do. And they have come to the art of excellence in financial matters. So while another person is rotating in the area, repeating the same mistakes over and over, they learn once and correct it, they jump to the next level. Jump to the next level. After some time, the guy is far up, and will begin to say, no, this one has gone underwater. Well, why people like that might be there, this is life, but in reality is there are people who have they have done their homework well. Yeah. And they are at the top of the game.
Let's say they know what to do.
They know what to do. So we must be able to, when it comes to the area of budgeting and tracking the record, let's look into finance, let's look into record. And then number two, to also be able to help us track records, let's continue to look at the assets. And let me say assets review. Why is that important? Everything in your house is money.
Okay.
Whatever you're seeing in your kitchen, that's money. Whatever is on your compound, that's money. That car is money. The things around are money. And sometimes you may not even know how you're spending until one day you sit carefully and you're like, let my head think, well, let me look around. What do I have? And how did this thing get here? How much does it cost? That may be the day your head will pop up and you realize, hey, I think I'm spending for certain things I don't know what I really need to spend for. And simple as that is, it becomes a track of a flow of spending and expenses. Okay. And then you may begin to realize either I'm spending too much or I'm spending too less. It is two-sided. Maybe you also look around, there are certain things that are really key. They are supposed to be there. They are not there yet. Wow. So these are wisdoms for tracking our spending. And then friends, is in there. If you want to know how much you spend, you scan the kind of friends you have and the lifestyle with the friends. There are people who manage their budget well. They have their records all kept well. They know what they want, they know what they don't want. But the friends around you might become the virus to your money. Because they will come around at a time you are all set and bring in an agenda you are not prepared for. Before you know it, without a second thought, you are now into the direction of what friends bring on the table. That does not match and agree with your personal plan, your personal records, the statistical organization of whatever you have put in your budgeting. A friend can mess up your budget without thinking again. True. So there are people who have managed every area of their personal lives well. They are so much accountable to themselves. But their problem is they have loose strings with friends. Friends that they are unable to say no to. People they feel they cannot disappoint. They love them so much that anything they ask for, they will say yes. Wow. So because of that feeling, let me say yes to anybody or to anyone I feel I cannot disappoint. That becomes a loose gate for resources to flow carelessly. Okay. At the end, budget is affected, your records are affected. Whatever you have put on paper is not agreeing.
Wow.
Simple things, but they are eating up many lives. So we can look into that and close a gate like that. We are back on road.
By the way, I would also say that these friends are very important, and it is also good to budget for them.
Yeah.
To budget for them in your finances, because people are going to get married, people are going to lose their people are going to get introduced, and they are going to visit you too, and so on. You also have to, but then you will have to set another budget for them. Don't spend everything on friends.
Sure.
And we are ending in only 4 minutes time, but I would want to appreciate those who have been watching us on Star Times, on Azam, and on Zuku. Thank you so much. And also those who have been watching us on the YouTube channel. I want to take the honor to read out some of the comments that some of our viewers have put here on the YouTube page, starting from Mungu Fudribo Job. Thank you so much for watching West Nile TV. And he is saying, thank you for this wonderful program, West Nile TV, and allowing Sophie to host it. Thank you so much, Job. Just know I'm also grateful to West Nile TV for bringing such a program here. Tom Brown is saying Koboko is fully represented. On Pastor, giving accountability is up to heaven, but don't miss out husbands giving out accountability to their wives. This was what we tackled already.
Yes,
and Joylene Beloved is saying very important subject, sir. Thank you so much, Joylene. And someone called Creative Mind. I'm happy listening to mentor Pastor Maliamungu here.
Thank you.
And then thank you so much, AC Hedwig, for watching West Nile TV. And Creative Mind repeated, money attracts money, for emphasis.
Yeah.
And someone called Help Aringa People is saying, Pastor Shalom, great to meet you here. Thank you so much, everyone who watched us on our YouTube channel. I'll give our guest a chance to speak in his final words to the viewers for today.
My final words to everyone is that let's continue to be students of life. When we come across something like this, we might feel exposed, discovering that we are behind schedule in life. And the area of accountability alone, as we have been discussing this, many could have felt that I think I have a lot to improve in my life. What I want to say to you is, don't be ashamed of working on yourself. Don't be ashamed of going back and beginning to be accountable to yourself, accountable to your family, accountable to the seniors. There are people God has put ahead of you. Those people are not put there by accident. There is something you have to do to be accountable to them. And above all, accountability to God. And if we are accountable, we will make our lives sweet and beautiful. And if we are not accountable, we will crash our lives so badly. So I want to appreciate you for listening, for following, for learning. I'm only hoping that you learn something out of this discussion. And of course, I want to appreciate my host. I will do so much injustice if I don't say that. I'm deeply grateful. Not forgetting the entire West Nile TV leadership and administration. I'm grateful for what God is doing through you here. And I can only wish the best for you.
Thank you.
The TV, the viewers, and everyone. My last word is that may God give everyone the best of the year 2025.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, because many people pay for these coachings, by the way.
Sure.
But thank you so much that you accepted to come and teach us. I hope you had a great moment with our guest, Pastor Michael Maliamungu. And obviously, if you joined late, because Yo-Yo Charles is saying he just joined. So go back, you have the link, go back and watch the whole stuff, and it will help you a lot. Thank you so much for watching West Nile TV today. And we will come back here again on Saturday with another topic, still at the Real Talk Show at West Nile TV. And this show runs to you every Saturday evening from the hour of 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. with me, Aita Sophie, your usual host. Thank you so much and have a good night.